So here's the thing. Let me run this by y'all, man. It was Wednesday, uh, June 12th. Um, that day began with my mother, with me, coming from work. Uh, Greeted me with a hug and a kiss. You know, we tripped out, and all day, you know, she said she had a taste for fish, so she had some bills to pay. She took the kids, with her. She was real happy that day. Me and her got along, fairly well anyway. But that day was special. You know, um, so she ate, we ate, and we had talked about the future. For the first time, I actually figured out, what gift I can actually get my mother that would actually be relevant, for the holidays. You know what I mean? And you know, which is crazy. It's crazy. You know, as long as it's been, you have no idea how many Christmases, man, that I've tried to please my mother. You know, but finally, finally found the perfect gift, man, and she's gone. But that night I went to bed early because I had to work the next day. And before I went to bed, my mother told me that she was gonna stay up and finish writing a letter that she had to write, um, you know, to preserve a a situation that she was experiencing at the time. And I woke up to the police officer banging on my door, and then he tells me that my mother, well, actually, he asked me if I knew Jackie, Jacqueline Lee. So I told him that that was my mother. It was two police officers, by the way, a white man and a black man. The black man was quiet. I guess he was waiting for me to make one wrong move or some shit. But he informed me that my mother was involved in a car accident that was um, medical. You know, in other words, she wasn't injured from the car accident, the car, a collision. It actually happened from a medical condition, which was from the heart. That's what we all assume. So I was kind of, I wasn't confused. I was, I was. It just happened so fast. It was hard for me to make sense of it. Well, okay, I made sense of it, but it just happened so fast. Like it was like, yo, it's just 12 o'clock. It's just 12 o'clock at night, man. You know, I had just spoke to my mom maybe 3 hours earlier. You know, and now she's in the hospital. He said that she was in critical condition, and he then again reminded me it wasn't from the accident; it was medical. She was in CMC. Okay, so he also let me know that the car was towed, so I had to get it from the towing company. He gave me the name of the towing company that had it. It's also on the the report. uh, which is Bradley Record. I think that's it. Make sure. Yeah, Bradley Record. Yeah, they the one who took the car. And so I made a phone call to my second mom, which is my mother's best friend and uh, my god brother and sister mom. Um, and she had got the call just before I did, or maybe at the same time. 'Cause she was on her way to the hospital. The cops actually visited me personally. And they was already close there, so I didn't want them to come turn around and come pick me up. So I wanted them to just go check on my mother. And I finally got a ride to the hospital. I didn't know what to think. You know, I called a couple people. Uh, or did I? Actually, no, I didn't call anybody except Melissa. Um, and when I got there, it was different. It was different. I didn't have any kind of, I didn't make any assumption of what condition my mother was in because I didn't want to disappoint myself. I didn't want to overthink it. I didn't want to underthink it. So I just left it. I just left myself to find out, to see what it was. And, you know, almost instantly I knew that this was the result now. I guess a little more than 2 weeks later, um, I had already knew, or I had an assumption, a strong assumption. So that's when I made phone calls to let everybody know, y'all need to come and, come visit, my mother. I also made over time, I made a page, a Facebook page, says praying for Jacqueline, you know, so that, people can put their prayers out, their thoughts out, you know, whatever. And also just to keep people updated randomly as far as what I know. So I won't have to make these phone calls to a million people, which still had to do that anyway. So, everybody was being hopeful. And I got the call, maybe a week later. The doctor told me, he looked at the MRI, the EEG, and she's not going to heal. So I asked him, the brain matter that's dead compared to the brain matter that's injured, or the cells or whatever. He said that even if the injured parts of the brain were to heal, it wouldn't be enough for her to function. So that was that. So I did let the family know what it was, and before I pulled any plug, of course I wanted a second, third opinion, but I didn't run that by anybody except my aunt, and that was after she got here. But the thing about it is, man, what I want y'all to get out of this, man, is that do not take your parents for granted. I've been told this before. I didn't really argue with my mom too much. I fucked with her a lot, but I didn't really argue with her too much. A lot of things I didn't like hearing her say, so on and so forth, But this is one of those things that you can't imagine, you can't describe. There's no way that anyone can completely relate to how you feel in a situation like this when you lose a parent. And I'm imagining that the loss of a child is worse, if not similar. This is an unimaginable event. So for those who don't respect their parents, I want to say that it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all, man. I think the best thing for you to do is to chuck it up and spend more time, loving your parents than anything else, man. Especially if they're good to you. Because when they're gone, and you don't get no do-overs, and you will most likely have regrets if you continue not to respect your parents, not to love them, and not to let them know See, I let my mom know I loved her and appreciate all the things that she done for me every chance I got. I was blessed enough to have that day, which was strange, but my mom spent time with the boys. She um she kicked it with me. We talked about we were supposed to go to the movies, a couple days, later or whatever. I was gonna take her to the movies to see the new Superman movie before it came out, in theaters and all that. She's into stuff like that too. You know what I mean? But I didn't get that. I didn't get that. And sometimes, man, you take that for granted. You think that you got plenty of time to do whatever it is that you want to do, need to do, or have to do, and you don't. I guess when you live for so long, everything starts to become routine, and you start to expect it to be the way it's been, and that's not the case. No matter how many times we hear, you know, you never know when you're gonna go. It's just guaranteed. It goes over your head. Everybody has to die. It goes over your head. Yeah, everybody gotta die, but it goes over your head, man. So I'm not gonna say to live every life like it's your last, but definitely respect the ones you love and let them know that you love them like it's their last days. All right, Legion 11.